What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of the Personal Trainer Network. Today, I have a new voice on my channel, but I also want to give her a huge shout out because I see what she's doing content wise. I think you guys should really check it out. Make sure you check out her Instagram. Will be in the description below. If you have any questions, ask her. Don't hit me up. Ask her, please. So I'm going to just have you introduce yourself briefly, let everybody know who you are and what you're about, how you got into fitness and everything.
Yeah, great. Thank you. So my name's Anisa. I'm 25 years old and I am a registered kinesiologist by practice, and I'm also a online transformation coach. So I've been kind of in this field from the time I could walk. Like literally the second I could walk, my parents kind of threw me into sports and I loved everything. So I was a big tomboy in every single sport possible. And then I fell in love with gymnastics at 8, and that kind of stuck permanently. So I did competitive gymnastics for 10 years. And then I quit because of injuries and just getting old with the sport. So then went to university, studied kinesiology. And so, yeah, I've been kind of coaching since I was 18 in terms of gymnastics and kind of helping people as well. And just kind of like helping people get to their fitness goals and stuff like that throughout the years. And then just recently I started my online coaching business. So I'm all about helping people get their results and their dream bodies or whatever they want through just working out, healthy eating, but not into the point where it's super restrictive. Like I'm all about making small sustainable changes so it becomes a part of your lifestyle. I promote it all the time about having a very balanced lifestyle, and so that this journey isn't overwhelming for people. It's very simple and it's very personalized and catered to your lifestyle, because every journey is super unique and personal, and there's no cookie cutter plan for everybody, right? So I'm all about making it super personalized to their lifestyle, and that way it's not a diet, it's just a life. And I'm all about mindset coaching too, teaching people how to love themselves and love their bodies, because I went through that as well. I did all the wrong things and had no confidence and everything. So I've worked my way up to being super confident and happy with myself and loving myself. So I want to teach people truly how to get there themselves. And that's why it's more of an overall transformation rather than just a physical goal. And yeah, that's kind of what I do.
Honestly, that's amazing. Like, again, you guys, please go check her stuff out. I just discovered her on Instagram, and I was like, wow, she makes awesome content. Like, because most people I see, they say, yeah, I want to help people, but they only care about like aesthetics. They're not trying to better people's lives, right? And anybody in fitness, I think it should be about the lifestyle change, not just the ultimate physique. Like, yeah, everybody wants to look good, but it's great to see people who care about the individual and want to see them achieve, the life that they want to have. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And because I've been through it myself, like that makes me want to do it even more. Like this is 100% my passion, and I've been through the ringer too with gymnastics, so many injuries that's what I do full time as a kinesiologist. Like I help people through exercise therapy every single day. So I mean, I love doing that. I love seeing people get from a very injured state to back to their normal life. And that's what I really preach with my patients. So I do the same with my clients, right? Like I want you to be happy with your lifestyle, not just with the way you look, right? I mean, we're all eventually not going to look amazing, like way down the line, right? So, but we're only given one body and one life. So, I mean, let's make the most of it and be happy with ourselves at the end of the day.
Yeah, I totally get that. I mean, that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
That's my goal. With these videos, if I could help one person or give one person, any tips that they didn't know before, that's all it was about. So, again, I appreciate you so much. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you too.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions here from some people. They wanted to ask you a couple of things. So first, from Deidre, she wants to know exercises that are good for back and obliques to strengthen your back and your obliques.
Right. So in terms of strengthening your back and obliques, it's really important to develop a strong base core. Like I always tell people, a lot of people ask me about the best exercises for your back or your obliques, or just developing abs or stuff like that. And what I say first is it's important to develop your functional base. Okay, so that comes all the way down to the way that you breathe. Like you have to do proper breathing exercises to be able to properly engage your core, so you can get the most out of core and lower back workouts so that you're not injuring yourself as well. So usually when I teach people, it's down right from the basis of doing diaphragmatic breathing, core engagements, stuff like to strengthen like your lower back especially. You want to do stuff like bridging, a lot of back extensions, but even then, that's something that I progress and kind of work up into. And then for obliques, you want to do a lot of, especially with deep breathing, crossover, anything to do with opening up your core, expanding and twisting is good. But like I said, you want to have a strong basis, because if you rush into it too quickly, you can result in injury. And a lot of people think when they do core exercises, they don't like it, so they just want to get through as quickly as possible. So they rush it. They do too quickly. And actually, to work your core the best way, you really want to slow down your exercises and focus on your breathing. And each rep should be slow, controlled, proper breathing. And that's when you'll see the best results for your core, lower back, and obliques. Because remember, your core, it does incorporate your lower back as well. It's not just the front. So I would say best exercise, kind of just start with the basics. Focus on breathing, focus on bridges, dead bugs, focus on proper crunches, how to roll up properly and not just use your neck, stuff like that. Supermans are also good too to help develop that. But like I said, everything should be slow and controlled, and really, really focus on your form and technique before you start to do anything crazy.
Honestly, I can't really add much to that. That was very, like, I learned some things, and I know a little bit. So again, all I would add is that just take your time, do what's best for you. I think a good way to start, dead bugs is great. Supermans are great for those as well too. Just work on your abdominals and try to focus on stretching your back out. Because I think for a lot of people, the lower back pain, because they tend to bend their back more and they don't really rely on bending with their knees. That's what I find with a lot of people is they do a lot of things where they just completely bend their back over to pick up things, and they have not great posture when it comes to certain things. So
yeah, absolutely, for sure. And like you said, just like take your time with it too. Like focus on 5 core movements and work on getting really, really good at those, and don't like have it all over the place and try and do a million different exercises at once. I really believe in just sticking to like 5 basic core exercises, get strong at those, and then you can start to incorporate other movements.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So question 2 comes from Daniela. What's the best way to gain muscle if gaining weight is hard for you?
Okay, so I've had this question a lot with a few of my clients too, like, because I know it's very popular to lose weight, but gaining weight is actually very healthy and very important, especially if you want to gain muscle. And I know a lot of people do struggle with this. And generally, it just comes down to being in a caloric surplus, which means you want to be eating more calories, right, than you're burning. I know that's can tend to be really hard for people. So like you kind of said in the beginning too, just kind of take your time with it, slow, and don't try and just jump up to a 500 calorie surplus for your maintenance level, because it's going to be a lot harder, especially if you're not used to eating that much and you really want to gain weight sustainably. I recommend just try and start to increase with a 100 calorie surplus. And honestly, it's really important to focus on protein. Like I talk about it a lot. Protein is huge, and I try to tell people, don't focus on too much at once. Like you want to make one small change a week. So make one small change a week and be consistent with it. Consistency is key. Like you can't expect to be consistent with eating like at a surplus for 5 or 3 days of the week, and then get off of it 2 days and then on again 2 days. Like you got to be really consistent with it for about 12 weeks. Like 12 weeks is the minimum for your body to create a habit. So focus on that, steadily increase your calories by 100 every 1 to 2 weeks, and you'll definitely start to gain the weight. And especially, I know a lot of people are worried too about like getting, say, like fatter or whatever, not looking good to gain weight. And that's where the emphasis on protein comes. There's actually a good way that you can gain weight and stay relatively lean without building up too much extra fat. You will gain some fat, it's only natural, but if you put a really high emphasis on having a high amount of protein and quality foods too, with your carbs and fats, with them being nutrient dense, you can gain it in a really good way where you actually feel good and you have more energy.
For sure, yeah. The thing about protein, a lot of people immediately think meat, but a lot of different foods have protein, right? And even some drinks you can have. So I would say do some research, figure out foods that you enjoy to have, and because there's certain things that are high in protein that you may not think that they are, and maybe you like avocado, right? Avocado is always a good option for people. So but again, like she said it all. I can only really add a little bit to that. But yeah, just take your time. Again, like she said, even if it's 100, even if it's like 50, just take your time, figure out what works best for you. Not everybody's gonna be the same. So
yeah, absolutely. And like you said, that's such a great point about how protein, people think meat and think, oh my God, I'm going to get really bulky from having a lot of protein. And actually it's not true. Like standard, just for survival, you should be having 60 to 80 grams of protein a day, just strictly for survival, because that's what protein is for. It's for building new tissues, building everything straight from like the cellular level, right? That's your body's focus. Anything higher than that is actually going to go towards your muscle. But yeah, the protein doesn't just have to be meat. It's cottage cheese, it's low-fat Greek yogurt, it's proper nuts, like it's beans, it's quinoa, everything. Like there's so many different types of protein. So like you said, do your research and find what works for you.
Okay, number 3 is from Shama. She wants to know the benefits of intermittent fasting.
Sorry, can you repeat that? The benefit of
intermittent fasting?
Intermittent fasting. So I actually did quite a bit chat about this with my clients' Facebook group, because I have a private Facebook community for just my clients, and I was talking about intermittent fasting and its benefits. So like I said, but with me, I truly believe in tracking your food, because that's the best way to know. It's just good to know what you're putting in your body, like regardless of whatever your goals are, just to be healthy and kind of know actually what you're putting in your body from a nutrient level is so important. With intermittent fasting, absolutely you can do tracking as well, but then again, that's a lot to be doing on top of fasting and tracking your food. However, I'm not like saying it's not good. A lot of people swear by it and it works for people. Like with all fad diets, it's going to work for a certain population and it's not going to work for a majority of a population, right? So it's about knowing what works for you. For intermittent fasting, basically what it's doing is just trying to limit your amount of eating hours so that you can put yourself in a caloric deficit, which is what all fad diets are about. It's just putting your body in a caloric deficit by finding some kind of restriction. So with intermittent fasting, it's timing. Usually it's a 16-hour fasting window and an 8-hour eating window. So it's limiting the amount of time you eat. Now, if you're a kind of person who tends to eat a lot during the day and is up a lot of the hours of the day, this can be beneficial for you because it's going to limit your eating time. However, if you're not a person who tends to eat a lot throughout the day, you can find a way of doing that without intermittent fasting, but it's also a matter of a huge common flaw with it is people think, oh, this is my eating period. I can eat whatever I want in these 8 hours, and that's fine because I'm fasting for 16. And that's not true, because if you're eating more than your caloric maintenance level, then you technically won't lose the weight because you're still in a surplus and you're not actually in a deficit if you're eating whatever you want. So you still got to kind of be in your calorie range to be able to lose that weight. Now, with that being said, like I said, it works. You got to find out what works for you. It works for a lot of people, and for a whole bunch of people, it doesn't work for because they feel hungry or their energy levels are low. And you got to think about other factors like sleep and stuff too. So if it's something that is suited for your lifestyle, then go for it. But if it's not, I recommend just sticking to the most basic way that works for literally 100% of the population, which is calorie tracking or tracking your macros.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, again, she said everything that you need to know. Like, only thing I would add basically as well too is like just track what you eat at first, figure out the normal calorie intake that you have. I always tell people use my fitness pal. That's a great tool to help you. Um, and just just take your time, focus on what you're eating first, and then you can figure out what kind of diet that you want to do. Because the problem with a lot of those fad diets is it's dangerous,
Yeah.
and people they do these drastic diets where they change their food or their calorie intake drastically, and then they go back to eating normal, and they put on a lot of weight again, and they're lethargic and they're tired, and that motivation to work out it goes away, right? So.
Yeah, absolutely. And like everything, like fad diets are not technically sustainable. Like, and that's the
Mm-hmm.
thing I'm all about teaching a balanced lifestyle and to help to create something for you that you can actually do long term and it doesn't feel like a diet.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, with fad diets, everything is restrictive and isn't really sustainable long term.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I forgot to mention too, there's a difference for men and women doing intermittent fasting. For men, it's a lot easier. For women, unfortunately, if you are starting out with intermittent fasting, do it every other day. Don't be doing it every single day because it will really affect your hormones and it disrupts a lot of that. So you can come out with a whole bunch of other health problems and conditions. So it's especially important for women to start really, really slow and with larger eating windows when you are starting off with intermittent fasting. And always consult a doctor too and a
Yep.
healthcare practitioner, your personal one, before you do any kind of diet,
Mm-hmm.
just to see if it's something that you should even be doing because you don't want to risk any other health problems.
Yeah. And I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't know that about it's different for men and women, but that's really interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Question number 4 is from Tam. She wants to know what's the key to seeing results.
What's the key to seeing results? Consistency. Definitely consistency every single day. Like, know your purpose, know your why, like why you're doing this, and just stick
Mm-hmm.
with it. You can't expect to see results overnight, and just be
Mm-hmm.
patient with yourself, honestly, because it takes a long time. It takes years to build sustainability, right?
Yep.
Sure, you can see results through months, but years will help you keep that.
Mm-hmm.
It helps you keep that maintenance and just stick with it every single day. And don't spend over 12 to 16 weeks in a surplus or a deficit because your metabolism will adapt, right? So it's important to spend time back in. Okay.
So again, we were going over the keys to seeing results, and you were just saying how it's about maintaining and keep going for being consistent and going over time. So if you want to go into more info onto that.
Yeah, absolutely. And like what the only thing I was saying too is just about making sure that you're not trying to change a million things at once or
Mm-hmm.
several things at once. Like start, like I say, start simply, like either with whatever you find is easier. If it's easier for you to control working out, do that first. Or if it's easier for you to change your nutrition first, do that first. Try not to do too much at once because it will become super overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
And just it's about making small changes every single week, and then you just build on that consistently to something that works for you. If you try and do too much at once, you're not going to stick with it. So that really helps with being consistent, is making small changes every single day and week that work for you, and just being consistent with that. And just focus on yourself. Like, really don't focus on what other people are doing and where other people are at in their journey, because even though I'm at a great place in my journey, believe I've been doing this for a very, very long time. So I feel like people get caught up with the fact that I want to look like this or be like this in their life, and just be happy with where you're at now. Be proud
Mm-hmm.
of yourself that you realize you need to make a change for your lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
and use that as motivation that, yeah, it's going to take some time, but as long as you're consistent with it, you will get there. And just trust in
Yeah.
the process because it will happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's important to try to go for the goals that you want for yourself and not try to be somebody else. Because the
Yeah.
fact is that, if you keep working out and you're working out and you're working out and you're looking in the mirror and you're comparing yourself to some person on Instagram, like, even though they may have a great body and they may work out every day, they may not fully be natural, right? And
Mhm.
it takes a lot of time and dedication. A lot of people will tell you who have these amazing physiques. It took years. It takes years to get to where you want to get to, right? It's all about
Yeah.
changing the lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely. Just find what works for you and stick with it. Don't worry about what other people are doing because it's not relevant to what you're doing and your body and your life. So,
Exactly.
definitely.
And that kind of goes into the final question: what things should people know before starting their fitness journey?
Things should people know before starting it? Basically, simplicity is key.
Mm-hmm.
Try not to overcomplicate anything. Focus if you're starting, for example, for workouts, you don't want to be doing a million different exercises and changing them up every week. Start
Mm-hmm.
with 6 to 8 basic exercises per body area and focus on getting really, really good at those.
Mm-hmm.
Over weeks. Like you want to really narrow, being specific and being simple with it. You don't want
Mm-hmm.
to be doing anything crazy. So when you're starting it off, like for example, for lower body movements, you want to stick with the basics: your squats, your lunges, your deadlifts, your hip thrusts, and as well as like any kind of lunges as well. Like you want to stick with your basic movements, get really, really good at them. Don't worry about crazy variations that you see on Instagram and stuff. Stick really simple. When it comes to nutrition, like we were talking about earlier, just start tracking your food and seeing what you're putting in your body.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about hitting a certain goal. Like even if your protein goal or your calorie goal is super high from what you're used to, work on building your way up there. Don't just make that drastic change overnight because it's not going to be sustainable for you and too much, right? So I always say focus on one thing at a time with that. And also just remind yourself every single day, like write down your wins, write down your gratitudes. No matter how small it is, it makes a huge difference on your mindset when you're doing this.
Yeah.
So really just focus on the simple things and making sure you're getting really, really good at them as opposed to doing a million things at once. That's my best advice to people who are starting off their fitness journey.
I think that's really good advice. Simplicity is key. Like when you want to achieve a certain goal, just starting off with something small and building up to the big major goal in the end, that's the key, right? And I know that with your fitness journey, like you obviously started from somewhere and then you gotten to where you are now, but you want to keep going. Like you haven't, even though you might necessarily be happy with who you are now and happy with the way you look and happy with how strong and everything, you're still growing, you're still going, and you're still trying to achieve your goals, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I mean, I think that comes from just like the kind of person I am. Like I'm an athlete at heart, right? So for
Mm-hmm.
me, I'm always looking for the next challenge and next drive and competition. Like I'm the most competitive with myself. I don't care about what anybody's doing. I'm always trying to be every single day in every aspect of my life. I'm working on
Mm-hmm.
to be the better person of myself. So for me, while I'm very, very happy with where I'm at right now in my life, I always have my higher goals and I always want to push more. So yeah, I'm definitely like, while I'm very happy with my physique right now and myself, like that I can always be better and always work at being like the better person and a better individual and a better physique too. So I mean, it's not even about like, oh, looking better. It's just kind of like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
let's see what I can do. Let's see what my, because we're so blessed to have the bodies that we do have. It's like, oh,
Yep.
where can I take this,
Mm-hmm.
so that's where it stems from for me. It's not about an aesthetic thing. It's just kind of like, oh, let's see what I can do. Let's challenge myself a little bit more. But yeah, we're always learning, we're always growing. And that's the thing. It's called a journey for a reason
Mm-hmm.
because it takes time, right? So
Yep. It's a
yeah.
lifestyle, it's a journey, it's a process, and it's never ending. Honestly, it's gonna keep going, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, my goal is to be the best version of myself. Try, continue getting more and more elite and everything as I get older and I learn and all that stuff. Because I want to, like, for me, functionality is the most important thing, right? So, what I was gonna do last year before the pandemic was I signed up for Taekwondo classes. I was gonna do kickboxing, and I was gonna film my journey doing a couple classes of each of them and learning different things I can take to training people in the future, right? Because I think and like a lot of the personal trainers know, everybody is different. Not everybody is going to like the same style of training, the same style of workouts. everybody is going to take to something different. Some people
Yeah.
might like CrossFit. Some people might like, free running. Like I've seen people who love to do free running. They have great physiques. They go to the gym. They can do chin ups for days. Like they're great with it. So I wanted to do that. I think it'd be funny to watch me try to do like Taekwondo and just be exhausted after, and then just, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, no, honestly, like constantly challenging yourself is such a great thing, like just for your mind and your body. And
Hmm.
yeah, I love that you want to like be trying new things and stuff. And like I'm the same way. Like, and it's so important that you think of it as a way, like too, with your clients. Like I want to be able to teach my clients different things too, right? Like, because
Hmm.
everybody has a different way of what they love to do in terms of working out and building the physique that they want. So I believe that's so, so important to find out like what you truly love.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, even though this is the end of the video, I would love to keep talking, more and more about this because this is something that I'm passionate about and I love to do.
Yeah.
So if you be willing to come back on and do another video, what I'm going to do is after I talk to I think one or two more trainers, I'm gonna do like a round table where it's gonna be everybody in the call. So all the previous trainers, John, Nigel, Alex, and Anisa, and then a couple other people, and we're gonna talk. And if you guys have any questions or anything you want to talk about for anybody specific, feel free to talk to them. Again, make sure you guys go follow her on Instagram. Go check out what she's doing. If you want to be a part of what she does, join that Facebook group. Show her some love, show her some support. She's somebody that I feel like deserves that sort of bigger platform, that louder voice. And if I could, even bring a couple more people to you, that'd be awesome. Again,
Oh,
thank you
thank
for being part of this. Yeah.
thanks. Yeah, I really appreciate it. And I love doing this. So I definitely am down to talk some more and answer questions and stuff like that. So thank you for allowing me to be a part of this.
Yeah. And if you guys like this video, make sure you like it, subscribe to the channel for more. Do you have a YouTube channel that you make videos on? Or?
I don't know.
Oh.
So right now I've just stuck to Instagram and Facebook so far. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because
Maybe
I was
down
like,
the
you have an
line.
Instagram. Go check out her Instagram, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thanks. Thank
Okay,
you.
no problem. Let me just stop recording.